Cattle markets continue strong. Derrell, are you surprised by the strong market?
Well, to some extent, I think we have been all year through the first quarter, and now we're almost halfway through the second quarter. These markets have continued surprisingly strong. We knew there were reasons for these markets to sort of stabilize and sort of hold their own, but they've actually been stronger than we expected at virtually every level. Box beef has stayed high. That has allowed fed cattle prices to stay high, and feeder cattle markets have been supported both by the feedlot demand as well as obviously improving forage conditions and prospects for good forage this summer.
How long can good prices last?
Well, there's a couple things going on. Longer term, of course, we know that we're in a growing supply scenario. Beef production's up this year and will continue to be up. And cattle numbers are growing. But at the same time, you know, demand is really the driver of this thing on top of some short-term supply fundamentals that are fairly supportive. And that can continue. And so we're really just watching this as we go. As long as domestic demand and the global demand for U.S. beef continues to improve, then, you know, we can maintain these prices. We'll see some seasonal weakness as we move into the summer. We're probably near a seasonal peak, although I'm hesitant to say that because we've pushed this thing off longer than we would have expected already.
Well, and recently there's been some snow across western Kansas and on into Colorado. Will that impact the cattle markets any?
Well, it's at this point, it's certainly helping. Psychologically, it's contributing to this bullish psychology in the market. I think when you look at, obviously the death losses are there out in the country for cow-calf and stocker producers as well as in the feedlot. Those are costs to producers. There's a lot of mud and management headaches that go with this weather when this snow melts. In terms of actual supply response, I don't think this is big enough to cause a fundamental change in the market, but you know, it will slow down cattle performance somewhat. So given that we're already tight, we have carcass weights that are down, this will prolong that somewhat, and so we'll see some impact, and it's positive in that respect, but we probably will never be able to pick it out in the data in terms of really seeing and being able to point to it and say that was the storm effect.
We're in the first week of May, and people love to get out and grill, and it's getting that grilling season. What can consumers expect as far as beef prices go?
Well, you know, retail beef prices have been working their way generally down over the last, you know, really for more than a year now, and that will continue. Retail prices are still responding to the increase in production. Seasonally, again, we've had some strength in wholesale beef prices, but the retail prices continue to adjust. So consumers are seeing some benefits here, and you know, we're looking forward to grilling season. That seasonal demand really kicking in for the summer.
How can retail prices fall while all the other indicators are so strong?
Well, you know, this is the nature of the beef industry. There's margins at every levels. And what happened in 2015 and all through 2016 was that retail and wholesale margins widened because cattle prices fell first and more dramatically. Now we're kind of playing catch up with those retail prices starting to come down at the same time that we're actually seeing this strength so far this year in cattle and wholesale beef prices. So that means it's coming out of those margins. So we're seeing retail margins tighten up a little bit, packer margins are tightening up a little bit, and that's just the nature of the dynamics of this thing. We'll continue to see those retail prices adjust a bit as we go through the year, but we don't necessarily have to see a lot more change or a lot of pressure on the wholesale and the fed cattle prices.
Okay, thank you much. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.